Welcome to Chok Muay Chats, episode 48. This is the Roots Rebellion edition. We're talking about the upcoming card for Roots Rebellion, which is on Saturday, the 6th of September. So coming up quick, only a couple of days away. I'm here with Matt Bones, one of the more prominent voices of Muay Thai in Australia, the illustrated man himself. Thank you for jumping on the podcast. And if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, subscribe, YouTube and Spotify. This is Chok Muay Chats. Of course, I'm Joe Comerford, commentator, content creator, and Muay Thai nerd. Matty, thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. Joe, good to be with you, sir. I'm very much in the Southern Hemisphere today, as you can see. Beanie, thick socks, 3 pairs of undies, but nowhere's going to be hotter than in the middle of the centre ring at Roots, Slings and Arrows coming this Saturday. I'm pumped for it. Can have a chat.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's a pretty stacked card already. So for those who don't know, and so maybe some of the other fans who listen to this very, very well established top podcast in the rankings of Muay Thai podcasts, what is Roots Rebellion?
So Rebellion and Roots, part of Outliers Productions. They're the premier show down here in Australia. Rebellion, over the years, has seen a lot of really top-tier talent, international talent, come travel down to Victoria, down the bottom end of the world to take part on a big stage that celebrates, the beauty of 5-round Muay Thai. One of the major productions still really pushing the 5-rounders outside of Thailand with all the glitz and the glamour. So all the bells and whistles, and we're seeing guys like, Yod IQ, Damien Alamos, the Cow team and the Sipon Chai boys over the years.
Joe
Comerford, my goodness. So all the stars, mate, for young and old, fat and thin, have all made their way down here. Roots is the baby of Sainaji. It's unique in its branding. It's always got a bit of a reggae vibe to it, and that Roots idea is about building and fostering and providing a platform for up and coming professionals to make their way to the international stage, and it's done that so well and served our Muay Thai community in Australia so well over the years. But it's really grown from that. I feel it's been grown as Muay Thai grows. And now as we move towards the 6th of September, Roots, Slings and Arrows, we'll see a lot of familiar Rebellion talent and guys who are fighting on the big stage in Thailand as well. With RWS, James Kostik, Mahamonko has fought on RWS. A lot of these names will be on this Roots card. This Roots card will have all the bells and whistles, the smoke, the pyrotechnics, and there's going to be a big production element thrown into it. And it's cool to see Slings and Arrows as a Fat Fruity's Drop song, a great New Zealand band who's recently mourning the passing of Chris Faumu, who was their DJ. So it's nice to see Sai paying homage to that, and that Slings and Arrows will be worn across at the back of the Root shorts on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, Rebellion's been around for a while now, and it's established some great fighters and given some fantastic pathways to fighters over the years, and really is the premier Muay Thai show in Australia, and is a very, very long established brand, and especially with its Root show as well, developing the new and up and coming talent. And just having a look at the card, it's pretty stacked, not only just with fighters, but some great trainers behind them. So just a few names that looking at the card, guys like Don Miller, O'Neill Ortega, Joseph Coverdale, who's I've actually fought. He knocked me out in my very, very last fight. So a shout out to him for being the great career ender. Jordan Fielding, some Corey Dean, the cowboy. So Daniel Barber, some great legends of the sport. Ben White, Kyo Ikawasit. So Lewis Regis, of course. So some great trainers who have done some fabulous things for Australian Muay Thai. Now, going straight into the card, let's go straight from the top. James Kostik taking on Mahon Moncol. What are your thoughts? I mean, I'm a big fan of James Kostik. Obviously, seeing him on RWS perform very well. 3-0, I believe, on RWS. It might be 4. No, I think he's 3-0 on RWS. He's fought great guys like Topic and put on phenomenal performances. He's got solid hands, great explosive style, starts out strong, very, very entertaining fighter. And Mahon Moncol from Chanchai Muay Thai up there in Pai, where my my mother-in-law lives. So, often go and have a little session at Chanchai, and Mahon Moncol's got a great style as well. Very entertaining fighter. Used to fight on Channel 7 a fair bit. So what do you reckon? Tell me. I know you'll be in the corner for that one.
Yeah, so Mahon Moncol has been living with us for the past year, and before that, he did a stint with us for 6 months. When he was here last time, he fought. It was one of my favourite fights on Rebellion versus Mohammed Sadgay, who's a brilliant Iranian fighter. It was a 5-round kicking war, and so he got a taste of what Rebellion was about, and is coming out of retirement now after 12 months to get back onto that show before he returns back to Thailand later in the year. Like you mentioned, very different. This one will be fought over 3 rounds. He doesn't have a lot of experience with 3-rounders, primarily the latter part of his active career in Bangkok. He was in Channel 7, where he was a regular main event fighter in that stadium, and it's a very different style. It's a different rhythm. It's a different cadence, if you will, to a 3-round explosive start. Where James Kostik has had so much relevant recent experience at the highest level at. So there's a real advantages there for James Kostik. You're a fan, I'm a fan. It would seem just anyone that you talk to in Australia or in the Muay Thai scene abroad is a fan of James Kostik. Why not? He's a great guy. I love the way he carries himself, exciting fighting style, and the way these two match up is really intriguing over 3 rounds. James Kostik, like you say, great boxing, mixes his kicks up well, particularly the low kicks, which has been a challenge of Mahon Moncol later in his career. Mahon Moncol, beautiful southpaw, although as a right-hander, and actually fought about 70 of his fights in orthodox stance. Will we see him come out in the opposite stance on Saturday? Well, I guess I'm probably the only one that knows. A really interesting fight. The thing with James Kostik is, out of his 12 fights so far, 13 fights, he hasn't fought many southpaws. The recent experience versus the Cambodian on the opening show of Rebellion earlier in the year, New Generation, I think that was a great fight. James Kostik got a nose in front in that one and went over to try and settle for this Cambodian, settle the score in Cambodia. He's got recent experience with the southpaws, but a really exciting fight. I think I'm just going to need to remember to actively put my cornering hat on there rather than sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah, I mean it'll be a funny one from your perspective, but great, incredible matchup. Two very, very different styles, and we often know that styles make fights. And of course, as you mentioned, different cadence for Mahon Moncol. The tendency for the established Thai fighters is they do sometimes tend to struggle with the more Western style of Muay Thai, where it's a faster pace from the get-go, and that is one of James Kostik's strengths, is he does start out really strong, probably in the first 2 rounds. Sometimes can start to slow down in the 3rd round, but I think he's got phenomenal conditioning. So we'll see how that plays out in this fight between the 2 different styles, and obviously the difference in experience and cadence between the 2. Now moving down the card at 70 kilograms on the dot, 5 by 3 minute rounds. We've got Paul Steffens from SRG. Carter Lawrence makes another appearance in Australia, back in his hometown now. He's been out of training out of FA Group the last couple of years and has had a couple of performances on RWS. He fought on SKS. He's a real veteran. He's a real veteran, not only in Australia and on Rebellion, but in Rajadamnern as well. He's had quite a fair few appearances at Rajadamnern. I'm a big fan of Carter. He's got that really, really lanky frame. He used to be a really strong clinch fighter, but it kind of changed his style up a little bit. Tends to sit back a little bit more and pick away at his opponents. Paul Steffens, I haven't seen much of, but I've definitely heard the name. Obviously being an SRG fighter, SRG being one of the more prominent gyms from Sydney. So what can you tell me, my friend?
Carter Lawrence, of course, Rebellion favourite, a Victorian favourite, making a name for himself overseas. I've always been a Carter Lawrence fan. I had the pleasure of doing some sparring and some training with him over at FA Group, where he was very kind to me and didn't make me look too silly. But I've always been a fan of Carter Lawrence. I think he has now found his home up at 70 kgs. I think he was probably, taking a little bit of varnish off to get down lower. And up at the heavier weight classes where he doesn't really need to try too hard to get to that 70 kg limit, we can expect to see more clinching from him. And like you say, he's been refining his craft with the best out there at FA Group in Bangkok. A different style of clinching. We don't see many, Muay Thai kind of sit back on the ropes and kick long and set traps to get in the clinch. Most of the time we see guys come forward, but Carter's got this ability to use his long range, his long weapons, particularly his left kick off the ropes, score points. And when guys come to him, he'll accept the clinch, which, like you say, it makes an interesting matchup when you talk about Paul Stevens. I hadn't seen anything from Paul Stevens until he fought Daniel Matthews, one of the two Matthew brothers on this card. A really exciting prospect in Australian Muay Thai who's just walking around at the moment with a big $10,000 novelty check hanging out of his back pocket that he picked up in Muay Thai League. Didn't offer to pick up the check, though, when he came down to Torquay last weekend, which I thought was a bit cheeky. But Paul Steffens took him on. Paul Steffens boxing in that fight looked brilliant. I love it. He's a big, tall, strong guy, came forward with great hands and was very, very strong in the clinch. It was only late in that fight that Daniel Matthews, mind you, it was 3 rounds, managed to find the button, and that was the body. Daniel Matthews started targeting the body. Paul Stevens, because he's quite aggressive, pushing forward, was struggling with the left kick from the southpaw of Daniel Matthews, and I wonder if Carter Lawrence and the O'Neill Ortega team will be looking to kind of pick up where Daniel Matthews left off, where they'll be wondering if the blueprint's been written there. But hey, full credit to Paul Steffens, whatever way the cookie crumbles, went for an exciting one, stepping up big time and experience, and with a team like SRG and Lewis Regis at the helm, you can expect good things.
I mean, that's it. They've got phenomenal trainers up there, and there's a lot of strong boxing coming out of SRG at the moment. And what we know from Carter Lawrence, he is a veteran and he is very durable. He's a lot of fights that I've seen him fight at Rajadamnern, it ends up in a bloodbath, and he's a very, very, very tough fighter. So I think certainly makes for an exciting matchup, and coming from good stock, those two. Now, moving down the card, we're going a little bit lighter, 63.5 kilograms, around my old kind of weight division down that way. We got Ryan Smith taking on Jackie Matthews. So Ryan Smith training out of WA under David McVicker and Jackie Matthews from Victoria. What do you think? I mean, David McVicker creates really strong, tough, technical fighters. And of course, Kyo Ekawasit, a Thai stylist. So I think we're going to we got an intriguing matchup between these two. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Jack Matthews, the older brother of Daniel Matthews, who I said that there was two brothers on the card. There's not. We're used to that. It's just Jack carrying the flag for the Kyabram, all 20 people that live in Kyabram, and to this one, beautiful. Great trainer. They called him the Immortal Kiwekaset from up there in Buriram, but cut his teeth in Bangkok too. And they've got this unique thing going down there where there's it's a very, very small rural dairy farming community, and it's pretty much they've got Muay Thai or tipping over cows, and they find time for both, which is good. But without that distraction, with such a good trainer like Kiwekaset, they're doing really good things. Jackie Matthews, very different than his brother Dan. An orthodox fighter, loves to push forward, a real pressure style. Is just a fight of the night, shoe-in with his style. Loves to punch and come in with a left knee behind his big right hand and chop away with elbows. I'm talking about Carter Lawrence always finding his way into a bloodbath. It's usually Jack Matthews is turning on the tap. So excited to see him back where he belongs. Ryan Smith, not familiar with Ryan Smith, to be fair. I had a quick poke around for some footage and not a lot doing there, but you can, like you say, David McVicker at the helm, he's going to come in well prepared and he'll need to be against Jack Matthews in his own backyard. I did note that Ryan Smith's last fight in Thailand looked to be at one of the more touristy stadiums. He got a lot of damage to his face. His lip had a lot of stitches through it, under his eye, and that was only in August. That was only earlier this month. So you bet Jack Matthews will be coming and looking to open him up.
Yeah, I mean, Sai does a great job of matching up fighters that sometimes have opposing styles, but he does a really good job of even matchups as well. I feel you might have guys that might have a little bit more experience taking on somebody with less experience, but he does it in such a way that guys might be able to actually climb the ladder. I don't feel like they're out of depth matchups. So just going on that, we've got the next one just going down at 72.5 kilograms. Zach Lasala, who I don't know much about, but I actually know Ned Tucker. I've seen him fight on SKS Empire at Rajadamnern, and he's been making the rounds in Thailand, up in Isan as well. Ned Tucker is a one tough mother, man. He's a tough customer. Really, really stocky guy, loves to clinch. He's got heavy hands, very exciting fighter. I was quite impressed with the amount of heart that he showed on SKS Empire. So glad to see. I'm actually really happy to see him fighting on a really prestigious card like Roots, and starting to make a name for himself.
Yeah. Man, if the mantle Ned, one tough mother Tucker would stick, that'd be pretty cool. I reckon. Maybe you've just seen his new play name. But I saw him fight on. Aaron was commentating him on Thai fight in a Karchuak match where it was at versus Far Pindung, who's like one of the kind of big Thais that's usually just fed guys out of the tourist stadiums up there, and he cut him up. So Ned Tucker cut him up bad and ended up finishing with low kicks. I was like, man, who's this guy? And he's kind of, like you say, he's built like a cannonball. Very different style, that kind of heavy-handed, low kick, aggressive style. Very different to Zach Masala, who's a kick fighter. Beautiful single kicks, really nice style. Ben White was a great kicker back in his day too, and his fighters share a lot in terms of similarity to him. Zach Masala earned his pair of Rebellion shorts earlier this year, I believe, and had a great fight on the opening card of Rebellion at the start of their new generation. So Zach Masala also now cutting his teeth as a commentator next to Joe Comerford. That's you, Joe Coverdale, on Muay Thai Victoria. Those two are great to listen to. So a student of the game, but this time he's on the other side of the the ropes inside centre ring. So that's a good fight and another interstate matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like the fact that you mentioned he commentates with Joe Coverdale, not Joe Comerford. However, Joe Coverdale is the one that sent me out of the ring and into commentary because I couldn't fight anymore. So shout out to Joe. Now moving down the card, female matchup: Erin Carter versus Megan Montgomery Quinn, 60 kilograms, 3x3 minutes. Obviously, here in Thailand, we don't have the 3-minute rule for females. We have the 2-minute rule. So great to see females fighting at 3 minutes. What do you think we can expect from these two? I've seen Erin Carter fight. I saw her fight in, I think Allegra. I think she fought Allegra Vickers at the WBC event at Lumpini a couple of years ago. Great fighter. So very, very keen to see her. I don't know much about Megan Montgomery Quinn, but I do like the name.
Well, that's a good start. And it's a great name. It's a great name, Joe. And I'm sure she'll appreciate you acknowledging that as well. Erin Carter, well, she's the super featherweight national WBC champion down here in Australia. Strung a lot of fights together. She did, and WFC team put in some really good work to keep her charging and staying super busy. Erin Carter, I really like having a chat to her around town when I see her at the fights. She's got a good, fun, entertaining style. Always brings a big crowd, and of course, she's got that green and gold to prove her worth. Ranked in the, I think she's ranked in the top 10 worldwide in WBC rankings for what it's worth. Although I commentated her return to the ring after a bit of a layoff versus Courtney. What was it? Courtney Lockley from up in WA, who's just a really impressive up and comer from WA, and handed Erin her first loss in a while. So coming now to try and redeem herself, get back in the green as she takes on Megan Montgomery, a Don Miller trained fighter, super fight, part of Team Super Fight, and you know that left kick, left knee, right hand style is typical. Also to Megan, she joined us in Verona, Italy, where she picked up gold in her division. She had some, some of the divisions were kind of hit and miss, but she had some really tough opponents, very skilled opponents in her division, and looked good. So she stays super fresh. She's the Victorian State WBC champ, I think, but it's very, very tough. They call her Snow White around these parts, and yeah, she's a crowd favourite, absolutely. So when those two meet up, it will be fireworks, no doubt.
Well, you know, she's in good hands when she's training under Uncle Donny, so I'm looking forward to seeing that big stiff left kick, the old super fight favourite. So, yeah, stacked card, this one, Saturday the 6th of September at the Melbourne Pavilion in Kensington. I don't think I've been to that venue. What's the venue like?
Look, it's on there every weekend. It's become the home of combat sports in Victoria. It's a really impressive venue. This show is sold out, I believe,
Wow.
or they're trying to find a way to put a couple more seats in. Oh yeah, mate, it's a big card, 17 fights and some real crowd favourites. In these Roots, when it's afforded, all of the production of a Rebellion show is just so impressive. They have the DJ Jesse I, who's the host of Babylon Burning radio show down here in Victoria. He plays all the music, and just the combination of the rhythm and the cadence of the reggae kind of sits over the crowd, and they absorb it and they kind of give it back to the fights. It's so well put together, and it's pretty as a picture when it's all lit up. So yeah, make sure you jump on the broadcast. I'm usually ringside on the mic for that one with Stephen White, Hammer, and the team. I'm sure, and they'll be putting on an excellent call, and there'll be a lot of people tuning in. Like we said, you know, at the top of the card, we've got a lot of people with legitimate international experience. We've got four people there who have fought on RWS or other shows like One Championship, Thai Fight, plus a lot of familiar Rebellion talent. Then build up with this kind of surging undercurrent of up and coming pro fighters underneath it. It'll be a really, really good night out.
Yeah, exciting stuff. I mean, Sai always does a really good job with the production value of the fights, and the matchups are always exciting to watch. I mean, I've been watching for the last 14 years of since I've been into Muay Thai, 14, 15 years. Rebellion was the show that when I was fighting, everybody wanted to fight on. It was, the pinnacle of kind of careerdom for a lot of fighters at that time. I think everybody who listens to this podcast needs to get themselves an account with livecombatsports.com.au. Saturday, the 6th of September, 2025. You need to jump on and take a look at Roots Rebellion at Melbourne Pavilion, Kensington. What time's it kick off, mate?
It kicks off when it starts, Joe. So, yeah, just check the Rebellion Muay Thai Instagram for the official start time in your particular area of the planet to make sure I don't want to feed any misinformation out there into the public for Roots Slings and Arrows.
And of course, you can check it out on rebellionmuaythai.com.au. Check out the Instagram rebellion_Muay Thai for all the information on Roots 30. Saturday, 6th of September, 2025, Melbourne Pavilion, Kensington. And Matty Bones, where can people find you?
Well, I don't want to tell too many people where to find me because there are a couple of people looking for me. But if you want to follow me on social media, it's Matt Bones Torquay. Matt Bones Torquay. And our gym down here is Bones Torquay. Thank you very much, sir. And I'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks over there in the Land of Smiles.
That's right. We'll be searching for Michael Jackson ringside.
Classic.
So if people don't get that joke, don't worry. You're not a part of the team. All right, my friend, thank you very much. You can check out Chok Muay Chats episode 48, available on Spotify, YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. This was the Roots 30 edition. So big thank you to Sai Naji for getting us on this and talking about the new wave of talent coming out of Australia. And, of course, Mahang Mongkol from Thailand. Phenomenal fighter. Fantastic matchups on Roots 30. Thank you, Matt Bones, for joining me on this one. Always fabulous to have you around. And go and check out Matty Bones Torquay for all your MMA needs.